Okay, so again, this is a continuation on going from quizzes and forms onto Google Sheets so we can compare our data and look at our data. So the coolest part about Google Forms is being able to represent your data in different ways. And one way it allows you to do that is by creating charts and graphs. So what you want to do is you want to first highlight the columns that you want included in your chart. So you highlight the data or the columns that you want included in your chart. Then what you are going to do is you are going to go up to Insert at the top on this menu up here. Click on Insert and click on Chart. It takes it a second. Did it work? Who knows? It did. Okay, so it takes it a second, but it'll create a chart or a basic chart for you. But you do have to play with it, the settings and the data settings to suit your needs. So we're going to do that right now. So you have two things to look at. Number one, you have the chart itself, so you can see if the data is being represented by the way you want it to be represented. And you also have the chart editor over here on the right-hand side. So a couple of things. The first thing I want to tell you is that fix the settings on your default chart, on the chart it makes for you, before changing the chart type. And this is where you change the chart type. But the reason why I say this is because when you change it on that original default chart, it will adjust to suit the other chart types, if that makes sense. And then one thing that I tell my students that every graph, every good graph, or every good chart should have is a title, and all of their axes should be labeled. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to label our x-axis. So if you go to the chart editor and make sure data is highlighted, you will see right here where it says x-axis, add x-axis. What data? When you enter your data charts or your data range, make sure you use colons instead of like D2 through D6. You're going to put D2 colon D6 and then hit OK. That will get what in the world? I put the wrong ones in there. On this one, we are going to put C2 through C6, C2 colon C6, okay. Now, if you look, we can move our graph a little bit so we can see where our data starts and ends. But if you look, it does not quite match the data on your sheet. See where it says, so you're missing Homemaker Susie. So the best way to do that is to fix your data range. So see where your score is. Make sure that your data range starts where your actual data starts and ends where your actual data ends. So what I'm going to do is click on data range, and I'm going to change this B1 to B2 and then hit OK. Now I have Homemaker Susie, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Sarah Paulson, and John Smith, all in here with the correct scores. So that's what I mean by you need to make sure that your data range starts where your actual data starts. And so that's how you fix that axis. Customize, let me see. Label C2 through C6, series. Nope. And use column C as labels. It won't let you check that until you change your x-axis and your data range. Now, customize. This is where you can do your chart and axis titles. So my chart title, we're going to put student score comparison. Okay. So now my chart title is going to show up on my chart. And then my vertical axis. My vertical axis doesn't have a title. So this is going to now be test scores. Okay, so now you can see test scores showed up right here. Then you have your horizontal axis. Make sure every axis is labeled and titled, and then you're going to have, I was going to put horizontal axis. Then I'm going to have student names. There, so I have student names, test scores, and student score comparison. So that's my title and everything. You can have a legend, but you don't need one because you're really only comparing just one piece of data. If you had 2 or 3 different numbers, like pre-test and post-test, then I would definitely have a legend for that, but it'll create one for you. That's the beauty of this, is that if you have more than one piece of numerical data, it will add new bars or new lines in different colors for you. So that's the basics of the chart in Google Sheets. Now that we've changed all this, so we've changed all of our data, I'm going to change my chart to, let's say, a pie chart. Now, everything that I've changed on my original chart is affixed to this new type of chart, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my column, and it's still the same. So all of this basically, that's why I tell you to change on the original chart they give you what you want the data to represent and be labeled as, because as you change it, we can change it to a line graph. It's still going to have the same labels and the same titles for everything. And that's it for charts, or the basics of charts. So again, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next section.